Today we go over hotkeys in Premiere Pro to make the editing process a little bit faster for you. Hey indie filmmakers, it's Josh Leonard here, back with another episode of Quick Cut Tips, and today we're going to talk about hotkeys on your keyboard to help make that editing process go faster for you in Premiere Pro. We have 14 different basic hotkeys to use on your keyboard in Premiere Pro, and I keep everything the same as far as shortcuts and hotkeys go. If you want to change things over, all you have to do is go in your settings, into your keyboard settings, and go ahead and switch everything over to make things easier for you. But for me, I have an editing keyboard, and so it makes it easier for me just to keep everything there because it's already labeled. Now, as you can see here, I have an Easy Keyboard Professional Series editing keyboard made particularly for Premiere Pro's hotkeys. Now, you don't have to have an editing keyboard, of course, any keyboard would work, but if you're just starting off and you really want to learn where all the hotkeys are to get that process to go by faster for you in the edit, you can go ahead and buy an editing keyboard, but they're a bit pricey. So if you do want to have those colors that I have on my editing keyboard or something similar, you can actually buy a laminate that goes right on top of your keys on your keyboard that helps make things go by faster. Alright, so the first hotkey that we're going to talk about is the cut key, or C on your keyboard. I use this literally all the time whenever I'm cutting things. So I'm going to go ahead and click C, which changes that icon over to the little razor tool, highlight over, and cut. As you notice, I'm going to move it away. There's a little cut right here now. Then I can actually go ahead and change everything over if I want to. Now, to get back to your select key, just hit V. It's right next to the cut key, the letter C, and you can move it back and forth to go ahead and change the duration if you want to. Okay, so the next ones I really like to use are the in and out keys on your keyboard, which is marked I and O. Pretty simple, right? So whenever you're in your edit and you want to mark an in and out, but you don't want to bring the entire clip down, like if I didn't want to bring this entire 35-second clip, and I knew that there was a part of it that I wanted, all I have to do is scroll over. Here we go. I mark the in with an I, and I mark the out with an O. And then you can just grab and drag it down onto your timeline, and boom, it's right there. It helps you so much more when it comes to the edit, so that way you don't have to bring the entire huge clip down, especially if you're directing your actor, or, you know, if you're trying to tell somebody, hey, I want you to walk here. You can cut all that part out right there in your source monitor, so that way you don't have to worry about it. So that way in the program, it's already there for you, ready to go. All right, another tool that I like to use on my hotkey is the letter A, which is selecting all. Well, it's kind of like select all. What it does is it grabs everything and it pushes it over or moves it wherever you want. So that way, whenever you're in the edit, you don't accidentally get something off of sync, or if you move a transition or something like that, everything moves together. Say I want to put something at the very beginning of this timeline right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click A. If you notice, my icon changes over to those two little arrows pointing to the right. I'm going to grab at the beginning and it selects everything. And then I just drag it over and it literally moves the entire timeline. So if you notice here, it's moving the entire timeline. Nothing's out of sync, nothing's out of place, and it's good to go no matter where I move it. Another really awesome tool is the ripple delete effect. Say you delete a clip on your timeline and you have this big giant space, but you don't have to grab everything and drag it over. Now you can use the letter A key, the select all key, and pull it back over, or there's a really simple process to do that. Back here in my timeline, as you can see, I have this big old giant space over here. I moved everything over. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the letter V to get back to my regular select tool, and then I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And what you're going to do is super simple. You literally right click on that dead space, pop, and it says ripple delete, and it pulls everything back over. Now if you want to do it a different way, highlight over it and hit shift delete, and it does the same thing. So shift delete or right click ripple delete does the exact same thing, and it gets you the exact same effect. Alright, so we're getting to some of my favorite hotkeys here. Copy and paste. Now this helps make your editing process go exponentially faster. Say if you have an effect or a transition that you want to go ahead and add in other things, instead of grabbing it and dragging it down and then changing your audio levels or changing color correction or anything like that, literally just copy and paste it and onto every clip that you want to, and it makes it so much simpler. So we're back in my timeline here, and I want to copy and paste this color correction here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go to Effect Controls. I already color corrected it. As you know, here's the original and here's the after. I'm going to go ahead and hit Lumetri Color since it's already there. Now this works for everything. You can copy a clip if you want to, a transition, an audio effect, a color correction effect, a color grade effect, you name it, it works for everything. So you hit Control Copy, and say I don't have this next clip over here color corrected, so I'm going to go ahead and just unhighlight that, and then I'm going to do Control Paste, which is Control V, and then boom, it's right there. Obviously that's not the right color. The other one I have on it is what I wanted. but that's how we have it. So yeah, again, so Control C, go over to the next clip that you want to go ahead and paste the same attributes, and then Control V for paste. Boom. Another simple hotkey that you can use is the delete key. You want to delete something off your timeline? You just hit the delete key. So say I don't want this clip right here. Instead of right-clicking, scrolling over, find cut, or, you know, finding the delete, or anything like that, go through this whole entire huge-ass menu, we don't want to do that. So just as simple as grabbing it, say I accidentally placed it there, I decide I don't want it, or maybe the client doesn't want it, I literally just click it, go over and hit delete. Boop, bye-bye. So two more that makes the editing process go by a lot faster, and I use it a lot whenever I'm scrubbing through clips. Scrubbing through clips just means trying to find that right frame that you want to start your clip in, you mark it in, and then mark it out. But whenever I'm scrubbing through clips and I want to find a certain part, maybe it's a really, really long clip, or maybe I'm putting in, an older video inside of here that I'm going to use B-roll from on my new video, you can use your rewind and fast forward buttons, which goes into my next hotkey, the spacebar. Press play or pause to get everything done. That way you don't have to go over here and click the play or stop toggle space here. So it actually even shows you can hit spacebar to get that. Same thing goes with their timeline. If I want to just play this out.
First thing I noticed about Kansas City that's way different from California where I'm originally.
Press play or pause with your spacebar. That simple. Bidda bam, bidda bam. The other hotkeys that I like to use is to export. Now you can go to your file save or file export media and you can get all that stuff done. Sometimes I catch myself doing that, but if you really want to expedite that exporting process, maybe you have another gig to go to, another edit to get done, or maybe you're just hungry, then you can go ahead and use this one. Say I'm done with this, I'm happy with my edit, it's all here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit Control M to export, and it's gonna pop up in my export settings. Here you go. Save it to wherever you want to save it, hit Q, or if you want to, you can hit export. I personally like to hit Q to open up Adobe Media Encoder. I think it goes by a lot faster. Again, it's just a matter of preference. Media Encoder definitely helps when it comes to batch exporting things as well. But I just use it anyways because I think it goes by a lot faster and it's a lot simpler just to open up that bridge program. And finally, the last hotkey that I like to really use all the time, and I save this one best for last because every editor knows what I'm talking about here, is Control Z. Our undo button. Man, oh man, oh man, if I had literally a penny every time I've used Control Z, I would be rich. But I'm not, so it's okay. But it does definitely help make your process go by a lot faster if you accidentally delete something, or you move something in the wrong place, or it's out of sync now because you just decided to put another clip down. Control Z is literally like your safe zone. It's the best thing that you can have when it comes to editing. And say I moved this one right over here and I didn't want to. I accidentally did that and I was like, ah, crap. So I'm gonna hit Control Z and it goes back to where I wanted it. Exactly where I wanted it. Everything's exactly the same. Now these are just 14 different editing hotkeys that I use in Premiere Pro. There are plenty more that you can use to help expedite that editing process and make it go by smooth and fast. Like I said, you can even remap your editing keys, hotkeys if you'd like. I just keep them the same because I already have the keyboard and it's already all labeled out and everything like that for me. Well, that's all the time I have for you in this episode of Quick Cut Tips. If there's a hotkey that you use or prefer and it helps make your editing process go by smoother, go ahead and give it a comment below so that way maybe I can use it in the future and it might help me out. So go ahead and smack that subscribe button, give it a like, turn on those notification bells as I release a new editing tutorial each and every Tuesday to help you guys and give you guys another quick cut tip. Again, I'm Josh Leonard and I'll catch you next time.